Welcome for today's free seminar on how to cleanse your space. So we use the word space because all the techniques that I'm going to be using today, you can use it for your home, office, car, garden, whatever space area that you have, okay? Please feel free to type in your questions in the chat box. So while I'm speaking, I will be answering them simultaneously or leaving them till the end. And the last 10 minutes, we're going to be doing energetic space clearing of your own house that you're in right now. And I'm going to be guiding it for you so that you'll freshen up and you will feel the difference right after we finish. So a quick background for some of you who don't know me. My name is Maria, and I'm a spiritual coach, rebirthing breathwork facilitator. I'm the founder of Life Scripting, which is a holistic healing and manifestation modality. And I also do space clearing following the techniques of feng shui and also energy healing techniques. So I'm going to give you some of the basics and things that you can already do with the things that you already have in your house, and some other additional things if you wish to amplify different elements to use, okay? Yes, Suha, this is the place to write the questions. Thank you. So, space clearing. The energy that you are in right now, I want you to think of it from a perspective of water. So when you are in water, you can actually feel it's tangible. You can feel if the water is muddy, if it's dirty, if it's clean, right? It's the same thing with energy. But the only difference is that you cannot physically actually see it with your mind, or with your physical eyes, unless if you have developed some intuitive abilities and you can sense that something is off. So you see, your thoughts create energy. It affects your energy centers, which we call them chakras. There are more than 7 chakras, and this energy field that you are in, which is also affecting your auric field, which is kind of like an egg shape that is around you, simultaneously it has an impact on the space and on the whole field of the room that you're in. If you have, let's try to break it down. If you have one positive thought and you continuously think about it and focus on it, then you end up emitting that thought and that energy into your auric field. And with your auric field, you end up influencing the energy around you. Okay, so it's kind of like a ripple effect that happens. Simultaneously, if you have a negative thought, it will have that some kind of same impact. Now, we don't need to worry about one particular thought that we have on and off throughout the day. What we're really concerned about is the repetitive thoughts that we have, the repetitive energy that we're creating. So if someone feels unhappy, feels depressed, feels anxious, feels negative in any way, then their energy centers are not in harmony. Thus, their auric field is not in harmony. And as a result, the space that they're in is not going to have a harmonious effect. So now, because today I'm talking about space clearing, I'm not going to go too much into how you will cleanse yourself, because that is much of a longer and a deeper topic and a different topic. So what we're going to do is we're going to focus on the outer space that we're in, and we're going to help and assist that energy to change, to assist our auric field and thus our chakra system. So one simple, easy thing that you need to do, and if you ask any space clearer, anyone who's into feng shui or in Vatsu, which is the Hindu tradition and technique of feng shui, they will tell you to declutter. The art of decluttering is something very important before you start to do any kind of ritual, any kind of practice, any kind of cleansing. Because when you have built up stuff, physical stuff we're talking about, it creates a stuck energy around it. Sometimes the stuff that you have, you don't even resonate with it anymore. It could be things that you've had from the past, someone has given to you something, and it doesn't have any kind of value to you. So it just stays there, and it tries to cover, well, physically it covers dust, so you can see the dust. But imagine what's happening on it energetically. Energy is always faster than the physical molecules that we see. So you have in the corner of your house a certain object that you don't really care about, that you're not looking at it, it has no excitement to you, and it's continuously stuck there with the stuck energy hovering around it. So that is why step number 1 needs to be about decluttering. I think this is a great opportunity for all of us to look at certain cupboards, certain closets, certain drawers that we have of things that we no longer need to use. It simultaneously goes with the idea of detachment. So if you have created a sense of attachment to a certain object that you have, and that object affects on you from a certain emotional point of view. For example, if my ex has given me something and I don't have good terms with my ex, I'm not talking about a harmonious ex relationship, but with someone that I don't have a good ending, good memories, etc., etc., and that object of what I have from him or her is still with me, then that energy is still circulating around. You're not logically or continuously thinking about it, but it's there, and it is influencing and affecting the energy field around you. So ask yourselves a question, look at the objects around you, and have a look, do they actually have a positive impact in your life? If they do, great, that's one thing solved. If they don't, you do need to let it go, and you do need to get it out of your space. You will automatically feel a sense of detachment taking place when you do that, and at the same time, a sense of being light. Now, if you have the object and it does still bring you any sense of value, a sense of positivity, then you do need to have it cleansed. Now, we're going to move a little bit into the idea of cleansing. I generally categorize it into 2 different ways. One is very much earth-based, very tangible, very material-based, and the other one is very energy-based. So I'm going to give you the description of how I categorize it. When I want to use something tangibly, to have it in my own hands, then there are different elements that I can use to help cleanse that space. We have to think about the 4 main elements that we have: earth, water, air, and fire. These 4 elements are something that we can sense, we can grasp, we can understand, and this is what I mean by the tangible stuff. Okay? Don't worry, there are no stupid questions, just ask anything that you like and I'll be answering them simultaneously, okay? The second part of healing or transforming the energy is through intention and focus. So if you are an energy healer, or if you've learned energy healing, then you have the ability, without using those 4 elements, to change the energy field around you. Just like you have an impact on someone's energetic body, you have the impact of changing the energy field around them. So before I describe them, I'm going to answer Gabrielle's question, which is about accumulating a lot of food in the cupboards, full of stuff. That is a great question, actually. So what's been happening lately for the past month or so is people are hoarding. If this is the first time you're hearing this word, hoarding is about accumulating things and not necessarily really using them. I always take that idea and go back to the idea of attachment and detachment. So let's say you already have done that, talking about the food in your closet or in your cupboard. I would definitely advise you, which is one of the elements that I'm going to use right now, to cleanse those cupboards with the elements that I'm going to talk to you about, and also to organize them. Organizing it automatically helps with the energy to be more organized rather than to be stuffed and cluttered. Okay, so, and also having the awareness and the consciousness and some critical thinking that, do I really need that much food in my house? So even if you've done that hoarding experience in the last couple of weeks when everybody was into fear of going and buying stuff, now it's time to think of it from a more conscious perspective and say, okay, do I really need that? Like, will I be really eating that? Is that my favorite food? Or do I just want to buy that just so I can make sure I don't starve to death? Okay, so that will also help you in your buying experience. And thus it will help you to have lesser stuff and not to hoard. Okay, so I think that was a brilliant question. Thank you for asking that. So yeah, so that's the food area, Gabrielle, you can focus on that. I want to focus now on the 4 elements that I was talking about. I've noticed throughout the years that some people have a certain relationship with a certain element. So I'm an earth sign, I'm a Capricorn, and I love crystals. I love salt. I love having different types of crystals in my house. I've gotten over the accumulation of the crystal. That's why I've given away a lot as well. But you see, this is something that I really enjoy having. I have many other clients that are very much into fire element. So they have a fire sign. I'm not saying it's always like that, but there is this kind of tendency to be attracted to it. So they use the element of fire to cleanse the house. So I'm going to break down the 4 elements, what they are, and how you can use each one separately or together to cleanse the area that you're in. So the first one is earth, my favorite. It's having crystals or salt. Now, it's highly important for you to have sea salt in the house, not just the iodized salt or the table salt, because we want to bring in some natural element from nature into our house to help the cleansing process. So if you want to use crystals, if you're a fan of crystals, to release negative energy, there are the top 3 that I always recommend. Black Tourmaline, Smoky Quartz, and Black Obsidian. These 3, Black Tourmaline and Black Obsidian can look like each other. So you would notice that, you need to notice in the obsidian crystal that there are some whitish layers on it, like circular ones. The smoky quartz is kind of like a dirty clear quartz crystal. So if my voice is breaking to anybody else, please let me know, because if it's only one person, it could be from your own actual connection. Mine is connected by the Ethernet, so I shouldn't be having that issue. Rula, I'll talk about Himalayan salt lamps in a minute, yeah? So by getting any of these 3 crystals, you should be placing them, the best place to place them to release the negative energy is in the entrance of your house, okay? Now, if you're a fan like me and if you want to have so many of them, then you can have one for every room. But when you want to have a crystal, you need to learn how to cleanse it and how to activate it, okay? Just by having a crystal around, and just because Maria said so, it's kind of like bringing a rock from outside and just putting it in the house and convincing yourself with that. So these 3 have a very strong impact of negative energy. Katie mentioned another crystal, which is shungite. What I love about shungite, which is these 3 don't have much, is first of all, shungite is not a crystal. It is a volcanic rock, and it gets rid of EMF, so electromagnetic frequencies. So that is by itself another powerful element that it does. The crystals, the other 3, help with the negative energy as well, but shungite is number 1 for electronic devices, yeah? Just like what you mentioned with the name of the crystal, I believe it's a personal preference. You need to resonate with it. So some of you might end up going and buying a shungite, some of you might buy black tourmaline. Whatever it is that resonates most with you, that's the crystal that you need to get. So Mother Earth has given us so many different types of crystals. After all, it's kind of like having different types of vegetables. Probably you won't be eating all of them all the time, right? So make use of the crystals in the house. The fastest way for you to cleanse them, I'm going to be mentioning one of the ways today for you, which is the second element I want to move on to, is the air element. So the air element is simple thing, open your windows 10 minutes a day. Especially living in Dubai, many people, I'm not saying everyone, but many people live in high-rise buildings, so they don't have the habit much of opening the windows. If you cannot open the window, I would highly recommend getting an air purifier or air humidifier just to help with the air circulation that's happening. Or just open your door for 5 minutes a day, okay? Just to let energy in, the energy and the new fresh air to come in, okay? This is one of the actual issues that we have in Dubai, where many people don't have the luxury of opening their windows. It's like all built in and locked. So if you do have the ability to open your windows, please do. And if you don't, open the door for 5-10 minutes a day, because what it does, the main chi or the main energy that enters in your house comes from your main door. So it comes in, does a circulation, it moves the energy around and lets it out. If you have your windows open simultaneously, it will naturally let anything that's stuck and stagnant to be released out. Now, again, this is the cheapest option that you have. However, if you are into incense or smudging, this is what I'm going to talk to you about next, which is using sage or Palo Santo. Now, I am a fan of both because I feel the energy differently with each one of them. With Palo Santo, I feel that the energy is much deeper into penetrating and cutting through the dirty energy. With sage, I like how it also has the ability to clear any bacteria in the air or any viruses, as they say. I'm not a medical expert, so I cannot confirm that to you. But I can see how the smoke of sage can have an impact on the quality of the air that you breathe in. Palo Santo, not much, not necessarily, I would say, but I personally prefer the smell of Palo Santo. If you are using either or of these, then this is the technique you can use to cleanse your crystals, because you need to know the density of your crystal, and that is something that you can Google to find out. For example, shungite, I'm going to show you a shungite that I have. Okay, it's like a white sparkly one. This one it is very, very fragile. So if you soak it in water and you leave it there, it will start to disintegrate. So that is why if I told you to wash your crystals and you have something like shungite, then you're actually ruining your crystal and damaging it. So that is why the best option is to use sage or Palo Santo with the smoke. So one of the things that I do, I'm going to use my Palo Santo that I have right now, and I'll show you how I cleanse my crystals very quickly. So if you can see the smoke, what I do is I hold it underneath and I put the crystal on top. Shungite is not selenite, no, it's completely different. Shungite is dark black like charcoal, and selenite is pure white color. So, and the good thing about Palo Santo, it starts to stop burning by itself. Sage can go on for hours, and then you would get the security guard coming in telling you that your house is on fire. So be careful with what kind of incense that you're using. So I'm just going to show it again. So I just hold it and I let the smoke go around it. No, this is selenite. Yeah. Did I say shungite? Okay. All right. Does the size of the crystal matter? Well, that's an interesting question. It does, but I'm not going to tell you to go and bring in a huge large crystal and put it in the center of your house. You see, these are called tumble stones, right? So tumble stones are particularly created so that you can hold them in your palm, you can put them on your body, and you can put them in your pocket. So would a tumble stone have the same impact of having something like a larger one, like a clustered one? Definitely. So the size does matter to a certain extent, but I would also say if you learn how to activate, and this is what I teach in my space clearing course, if you learn how to activate the crystals, then the energy field of the crystal with the effect of energy healing will have an impact to expand the cleansing effect. But definitely size does matter, yeah? So there are great questions here. I'm going to try and answer them all, okay? Going back to sage and Palo Santo to use, that is an air cleansing technique. Incense sticks is another way of doing it. However, you need to know what kind of incense stick you're buying, okay? So if you are buying an incense stick that is going to just help with the fragrance, that's not necessarily a cleansing impact. It's just adding smell into your house, which will help to calm your mind, make you feel better, definitely will help you in that manner. Frankincense is one of the oldest, I would say, in the Middle Eastern region used. Many people use it obviously in churches. That's another powerful one. However, frankincense, you need to have a charcoal for it, obviously. I haven't seen one that you can actually hold around and burn it in the house. So it depends on how you wish to use it, yeah? So I want to answer Gabrielle's question about plants. Plants do help with cleaning the space. However, you need to know what type of plant you're getting, okay? So something like, there is one called the snake plant, which is very long and pointy. That has the impact of cleansing this, the air in the house. The other one is lily. That has an impact as well. But from my personal experience, having pointy plants in the house is a very personal thing, because by following feng shui rules, if you have anything pointy in the house, it's cutting through the energy. And you need to be aware of where you are locating that plant, because if you have put, for example, and I'm just going to deviate from the topic a little bit right now, if you have put a plant in the corner of your house, which is supposed to be your money corner or your relationship corner, then it's going to harm that, and it's going to end up having a negative impact. So that is why, guys, I'm trying to give you the things that you can do that will not have any kind of side effects, because the other things need a little bit more planning, a little bit more detailed information to find out, okay? I'm going to come to the fire sign in a minute. No, it doesn't matter if you're a fire sign to use charcoal. No, absolutely not. I haven't necessarily read about orchids to help with the energy cleansing of the plants, so I cannot specify on that, to be honest. Okay, I'm just making sure if there are any other questions I missed. Okay. I'm going to answer a question, Suha, in a bit. Just let me finish up and I'll help you more with that, okay? Does using charcoal for frankincense dilute? No, no, of course not. Of course not. Then what other way can you burn the frankincense? I'm wondering. Yes, crystals like selenite can be used for space clearing. They are more working with the chakras of the higher chakras that will help with meditation more. That's why I didn't necessarily mention to cleanse the negative energies, but it does have an impact, yes. Madiha, that's a very personal question about the sticks that you have collected. I wouldn't say they are good or bad. What you have done is you've taken something from Mother Earth, okay? So that is a great thing, but you need to focus on what is the intention of that and why are you using that. If you're going to be using that to create a protective grid for yourself or activating it for it to do that work, then why not? But I'm wondering what your intention was to buy something sharp, to collect something sharp and pointy, yeah? Essential oils, okay. Essential oils is going to go to obviously the category of air, and it also has to do with fire. Depends on how you're using the essential oils. If you're using one of those objects where it steams out, then it's not the fire element, it's just purely air. But, I'm gonna come to that, Sonia, in a minute. So essential oils, you can get sage essential oil or frankincense essential oil to cleanse, or sandalwood essential oil to cleanse. If you only need to use something to relax and to make you feel better, but not necessarily to cleanse the energy, is lavender. So what I generally do personally is after I've done my smudging with either frankincense, sage, look, I use all of them. So it's not like I am telling you to use one and one is the only one that is good for you, right? Everyone has a certain preference. Mine goes with my intuitive guidance daily. I have days that I need to use frankincense for the house. I have some frankincense from Lebanon that I bought from a certain church that I use. There are days that I will use California sage. There are days that I use Palo Santo. So depending on my intuitive guidance. So after I've used that, later on I put on the essential oils. Like I use lavender, I use lemongrass, and I use eucalyptus, but it depends on how sensitive you are with the essential oils, okay? Don't overdo it, because again, if you don't have the ability to open your windows, then you're inhaling so much of these essential oils, and if they're not organic, they could have toxic chemicals in it, and it's not necessarily really helping. You're actually harming yourself rather than making it even better, okay? So, so Sonia is saying that she uses sage smudge sprays. I have one of those over here, spraying around. That is something effective. What you are doing is going back to the 4 elements. You're using water, and you're using the element of what you're, like if it's sage, then you're using the earth element and the air element as well. So you're spraying it around. You always have to think like, you would notice, see, everyone is giving me the different ways that they use, and either it's for practicality or it's your actual, you're resonating with that certain type of element that you're using with, okay? All right, I'm gonna move on to the 3rd element, which is, Himalayan salt lamps. Rula was mentioning that. I use Himalayan lamps. I'll tell you how many I have at home. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6. I got my 6th one yesterday, and my husband's like, this is enough. The whole house is filled with Himalayan lamps. I have no more space to put in. The reason why I use Himalayan lamps is not necessarily for the sea salt effect. I use it for color therapy. Because when you dim the lights and you only have the sea salt there, other than it's negative eons that helps to cleanse the space around. The color that it has, which is a light pinkish, sometimes light yellowish Somo color, that is what I enjoy it for. But there has been information on it where they say that it emits negative eons, which helps to cleanse any negative energy or energetic particles that are causing discomfort. So I would highly recommend Himalayan salt lamps if you also like the color, because some people don't like the color of it, and it's great for meditation practices. My favorite space to use in the house is in the bedroom, because it will help to create that tranquil effect. And one thing I do with my Himalayan salt lamps is I don't turn them off except when I'm sleeping, the one only in my bedroom. Otherwise, the rest is always on throughout my whole house. Because again, if you have them, if you've noticed, the bulbs that they have are not that practical. So it ends up burning a lot when you turn it on and off very much. So keeping it on for a long period of time, it will help you. If you're not a fan of the lamps, you can get the candle holder for it. And that is an absolutely perfect way, which is the third element I want to talk about, was fire. Because you are making use of the fire element with the earth element combined together at the same time. Fire is a powerful cutting through energy element. I use it in breathwork practices. That is why if you've attended some of my rebirthing breathworks or meditations, I specifically put the candles there, not because we need some light there, it's because fire burns through the negative energy. You can meditate with it. You can have the candles lit once a week in every single room in the house. And this will help, and you have to leave it until it's completely put off by itself, rather than you going and putting it off. Obviously, be careful where you're putting them. And what I would advise you to do, if you want to have a full energetic cleansing of your aura, is to get 9 tea light candles, and also having black tourmaline, or the other 3 that I mentioned, or even shungite or selenite, to put them around them, and to have a deep meditative practice in a certain room with the intention of cleansing your aura and cleansing the whole space in the room that you're in. So you see, we're combining them again. How do we use sea salt? You're going to use sea salt. Either you put a small pinch in every room, and you have to throw it away every 15 days. So like having a small plate with some sea salt in. What sea salt does, it absorbs the dirty energy. Or a very old feng shui practice is the water sea salt, which is they fill up a small bowl of metal or glass, not plastic. 3/4 of it is filled with sea salt, and then they pour water in, and they use that in a certain corner of the house which has the most negative energy according to that feng shui year. Now, some people do that just by having one somewhere in the house. It can have an impact, but the fastest way, I would say, is to have a little bit in every room in the house, even in the toilets, okay? And then every 15 days, you have to take them and flush them down the toilet, not in your rubbish bin, because you might even notice, obviously it becomes dusty, and it is also filled with a lot of dirty negative energy. Last thing you can do with sea salt is also putting, like, let's say if I want to use my selenite, I would use it on a bed, like a small plate, a bed of sea salt, and I put my selenite in. So I'm having the double effect of the crystal and the sea salt. Okay? Gabriel, that is something that will take us a few hours to talk about, because that's a feng shui thing. we would need to discuss that on based on the feng shui year and information regarding that. So I can't talk about that right now because that's going to take us a long time. That is why I'm giving you, again, I want to explain, I'm giving you things that you can do right now without complicating it. Last thing is using water. Like the spray bottle that someone had mentioned before, you can use that, or having a water element, as in having a small bowl of water in the house. One of the rooms that you mostly use it, I would generally put it either in the bedroom and in the living room, or both. And again, the water, you end up flushing it down the toilet every 15 days. The reason why I'm saying 15 days is because it has to do with the moon cycle as well. So it's helping you to release with the cycle of the moon of what's stuck in the house. And obviously, common sense, cleansing the house, like wiping the house with water, not using a lot of chemical detergents, will help to wash away with what's stuck in the house as well. Yeah. Fluoride water. What do you mean about that, Manoj? Can you give me more explanation on it? Another thing you can do is, just like the bed of sea salt that I mentioned, by putting the crystal on top, you can also choose a bowl of water and you put in the crystal in and you keep it there. 15 days later, you just throw in the water and you add the crystal back in. So again, you're using two elements together. Now, sound, thunder, and ocean sounds. Well, two things. Sound and the sound of the ocean and thunder, I would separate them. The sound of thunder and ocean, I would say it's more relaxing, not necessarily cleansing. Obviously, it's cleansing for the mind. But if you want to start to focus on sound, then you need to know which vibrational frequency you want to use in the house. So one thing that you can use to increase the vibrational frequency is using any type of music that has 528 hertz. So by playing that kind of music in the house, and I would recommend an amazing page. I'm actually using one right now. It's called Meditative Mind on YouTube. The one that I'm using right now is 639 hertz, which is the heart chakra one. Okay, so there is a huge study on the solfeggio frequencies. The one that resonates with many people is 528. It has that impact. I talk about these frequencies in my course in detail, and which one you have to use depending on which emotion or which emotional state you're in. So that's how I would describe them both. Tibetan singing bowls, again, are sound healing. So I would put them in the sound frequency category rather than the water sound category. You have to have discernment of what kind of Tibetan singing bowl you're listening to, or the bowl that you have, because singing bowls are like crystals. You end up resonating with a certain sound, with a certain type of frequency that they emit. So by using it and going around the house by you don't have to learn how to do it because you're not doing it for the body. Of course, there's singing bowl healing techniques, but just by having the bowl and tapping onto it to every house, it will help you a lot with that. Okay. So, I wasn't expecting that I wouldn't have enough time to talk about everything I want, but we'll try to get through as much as we can because we need to cleanse your house as well, remember. So we have 10 minutes left, and then I'm going to go into the energy cleansing, okay? So rule number 1, declutter. Rule number 2, using one of the 4 elements or combining the 4 elements together. Okay, plus we just talked about sound. That's another thing that we can do. There are other ways as well. I won't have time to talk much about them today. I want to move on to the energy aspect of it and with intention. So let's talk about the situation right now with everyone. Everyone's at home. Some people are with families, some people are by themselves. If if there are, I'll tell you about the course later, Hannah. If you are with so many people in the house, then everyone's emotional state is having an impact on one another. It's kind of like, the best way I would describe it is like everyone has a ball in their hand and keeps on throwing it to one another. So I throw a ball at my husband and he throws another ball at me. And those balls are energetic emotions. And that is why you will start feeling at some point agitated, triggered, feeling uncomfortable, feeling anxious, feeling angry. It's because each one's energy is having an impact on someone else. Again, because we're not talking about our own auric cleansing today, we're talking about the space, it's highly important that in this case, you do the cleansing every 3 days. Okay? New moon and full moons are powerful opportunities to do that. New moon is happening on Wednesday. You have the opportunity for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday because it's in the new moon phase to do that. When you're doing your cleansing, I advise you to do it in the morning and not in the evening. Having some sunlight come in would definitely help as well with the windows, as I mentioned. So energetic cleansing is done in many ways. Either it's done by someone sending energy through the hands, through the palms of the hand. Either it's done through mental intention or vocal intention. And with these 3 techniques, so the hand, the mental, and the vocal, the visualization will play a huge role, which is what we're going to practice today and experience. What I will be doing today for you is I'm going to use a certain color, which is electric violet. Electric violet has its own history on why it's very powerful in eliminating negative thoughts and negative belief systems and negative energy around the aura and around the house that you're in. So we're going to be using that color today. If you don't know how to do it, what I would advise you only to do by yourself is to just put your hands up when you're trying to do this by yourself and to imagine white light coming out of your hands. And like what we will be doing today, mentally going and visualizing every room in the house. You don't have to walk around the house with your palms upwards, okay? You can do it. That is hence the idea of doing energetic cleansing. By sitting in a certain room and emitting the energy from your hands and through the visualization process, okay? So this is the reason why we do this is because when you have had an argument with someone, maybe the person's not living with you, but you've had an argument with someone through the phone, you've seen something on Facebook, on Instagram that has irritated you and it has caused you any kind of disruption, then you are already stirring up that energy. Now, you might forget about it in a couple of days, but if you haven't done any kind of cleansing on your own self, that energetic entity is hovering around in the house. So, and it starts to get accumulated after a while. So that is why, just like we shower to cleanse our physical body, and just like we meditate, do breath work, do energy cleaning to clean our energy bodies, we also need to take care of the space that we're living in and to make sure that it is in a high vibrational frequency. Okay, so we are already on time right now. What I want from you is to sit comfortably with your spine erect. And what do you mean, Sumaira, cleanse others? You mean other people? You are not allowed to cleanse other people unless they've given you their consent. So by cleansing your own house, you are not interrupting anybody else's free will because it's your own house. You want to live in that house. You want to feel safe and you want to feel comfortable. So there is nothing wrong in doing that. But if we are focusing on somebody else, we need to get their consent. Automatically, when you cleanse your house, it is going to have an impact on your own mental state and on your own energy. Pets, cats, dogs, birds, hamsters that you have, they take on a lot of energy from us. They do have the ability to cleanse themselves. However, if you feel that you have been very negative for quite a while, then give your pets some kind of cleansing. Get the sage, get the Palo Santo, and cleanse them as well, so that you can help them feel better as well, okay? They do have their ability to cleanse themselves, but because they are filled with unconditional love, they tend to hold on to our energy and not give it away. So if we have a lot and we're continuously throwing our stuff on them, which they are happily accepting, then I think it's our responsibility to help ourselves and them to cleanse them as well. Okay, so obviously I don't know how many rooms you have. So first I'm going to go into the logical detail of going into kitchen, living room, bedroom, bathroom, and then I'll also say the hall. I'll also focus on balcony. Many people forget about their balconies or their gardens, thinking that it's outdoors, so it's probably clean. No, it's still part of you. So I will first do each room with you, and all I want you to do is just to visualize your actual space whenever I'm talking about a certain room. And I'm going to be, with my intention and my vocal command, I'm going to send the energy to cleanse it with electric violet, okay? You just need to mentally give me your permission that I'm doing that. If you wish, if you do not wish, you're more than welcome not to do it. And here goes. So I'm going to keep the music as well. So just close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths. You are, I just want to interrupt by answering Kamaini's answer. You are cleansing the space without interrupting anybody's free will. So if you're living in the house, you're not harming anyone by cleansing it. If they're going to dump their negative energy again in the house, then it's your job to just make sure that the space that you're living in is always clean. So we're not interfering with their own energy. They will probably even be grateful to you later on. Okay? Okay, so 3 deep breaths. First, I want you to focus on your heart. And I want you to visualize golden light shining out of your heart. Expanding and growing. Until it fully covers your body and all your energy bodies. You're now in a golden ball of light. And this will protect you during the space clearing process. I want you to put your palms up, facing outwards. And I'm going to be channeling the energy for you. Visualize your kitchen. Imagine yourself in your kitchen. And we're now going to cleanse all negative, low vibrational energies in your kitchen with violet flame color, with the electric violet light. With your hands, you're emitting white light. completely cleansing all the negative and low vibrational energies in your kitchen now. Now visualize your bedroom. You are in your bedroom. You're emitting white light through your hands. And I'm commanding electric violet, the violet flame color, to completely and totally cleanse all negative energies and low vibrational energies in your bedroom now. We are now moving to your living room. The room that you have the TV in, if you do, the living room that you sit in most of the time. With your hands, you're emitting white light. And I now command the electric violet light, the violet flame, to completely cleanse your living room from all negative energies and low vibrational energies. We will now focus on the bathroom that's connected to your bedroom. Imagine yourself in the bathroom. You're emitting white light, and I now command the electric violet light to completely and totally cleanse all negative energies and low vibrational energies in your bathroom now. All the remaining rooms that you may have, hallway, bathrooms, children rooms, guest rooms, office, balcony, garden, garage, attic, cellar, any type of room, any type of space, completely cleansing it now with electric violet light. All the low vibrational frequencies and negative energies being cleansed. And you can visualize with your hands emitting white light. I will now create a protective grid around your house, creating a golden ball of light, completely covering the ceiling, the walls, and the floors. Protecting you from any harm, any internal or outer negativity, any internal or outer low vibrational energies. Bring your hands together into a prayer position towards your heart. And mentally repeat, I now thank the house, the space that I live in. I now thank all the objects that I have. I'm grateful for the space that I'm in. Thank you, and so it is. Take 3 deep breaths and open your eyes. You're welcome. I hope you notice the difference. The golden light is a very potent color, and it has a neutral impact. It's neither positive nor negative. I call it the divine light. So that is why I use the golden and the violet color. You will definitely notice differences. You will notice differences with the people around you who are living with you. Your pets will definitely react the fastest. And hopefully you'll have a much better night's sleep today. So just to give you a quick background, the course that I'm teaching in May, the first week of May, is going to be about space clearing. And it's a 1-day course, which is a certified space clearing technique. You will be learning how to cleanse your own space, to release entities, negative thought forms, to know how to use sacred geometric symbols, how to follow the feng shui simple rules in the house, to understand how to manifest things in the house as well. So if you're interested in understanding more about it, and what you can do is you can send me an email as well, and I can help you out. You can even get a 20-minute free consultation with me, so I can give you more details if you need to. We're having it 50% off, so I could accommodate as many more people as possible. And if you're interested, I would love to have you there. I'll be talking about some of the things that we talked about today and much deeper things, so that you can always be in a space that will help you to be at peace, in success, in prosperity, manifestation, and in love. Okay? Suha, what was your question? Ivana, cleanse them with sage, and I would highly advise you to learn how to deactivate it. Suha, this is a very very personal and deep question that you asked. This has to do with learning how to, I would say, get a rose quartz. This is the simplest thing you can do right now to help you feel different. and to get rid of any negativity from the past, from an ex-partner. And also make sure that you completely cleanse the space around it. And also, which is something I teach, is to write down a list of affirmations and to put them next to your bedside. That's something I would recommend right now for you to do, okay? Guys, I would love to answer your questions, but there are not 2-minute answers that I could give. So if I haven't answered your questions, it's because that needs a longer, detailed, descriptive answers. Learning how to activate or deactivate is something that I need to teach you, unfortunately. How you recognize negative energy, it has to do a lot with how you're feeling. That you've already answered the question within your question. If you feel uncomfortable, then there's negative energy around you. If you feel stuck and things are not moving, then there's negative energy around you. But one last thing I want to mention, we cannot blame the space around us and become victims. The space around us complements our inner work, okay? And if you are continuously going to be negative or depressed or angry and then go around and sage the house, it's really not going to make that much of a difference, okay? So space clearing complements a lot with how you're feeling and how you're thinking and how you want to create your life, okay? Aquarium is a great feng shui tool, actually. It also helps to bring money. It's a water element. However, make sure that it's always clean and take care of the fish. Yeah, a simple thing is that. Do not neglect it. Okay. Thank you everyone for joining. And I'm just going to type in my email. If you have any questions, you can email me later. Again, some personal questions that need longer answers, I'm not able to answer. I'm sorry. Fountains are perfect money makers, money bringers. So they work perfectly well, okay? YouTube channel was Meditative Mind. Let me type it here. Yeah, it's called the Meditative Mind. They have amazing, amazing music. You can put it on for hours and hours and hours. Some of them are also for sleeping as well. So you can put it and it will help you to fall asleep and you will start having amazing dreams. Okay, thank you so much. I hope this was useful. I hope you end up using the tools that I mentioned today and see you soon. Take care. God bless.